Hello and welcome to the Be Formless Flow Driven VC podcast, where we are reshaping life, leadership, business, and investing from the inside out. And today I am welcoming to the show Brandi Kolosky. And Brandi is currently in Boca Raton, north of Miami, in amongst nature, the ocean. Welcome to the show, Brandi.
Yes, Boca Raton. It's the mouth of the rat in Spanish.
Really?
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. I learned that a long time ago when I was in a program where I got to compete around the United States in real world business experiences, but in high school. So I was always a year ahead in my studies. And then my father being an entrepreneur, I kind of sparked that little entrepreneurial bug. And so that's how I then got invited to be in this competing competition around the US. And we competed against the wealthy, smart, comrades of other high schools and from Boca Raton. And that's how I found out that Boca
Oh,
Raton
wow.
was kind of the
I
rat.
need to get there. I've never been to Miami. I've never been to Florida. I've been to many other parts of the US. So I'll have to add it to my list of places to get to. And maybe I can
Yeah.
hang out with you there sometime.
Oh, yes. The only time I'm coming back, though, is if I can purchase a home that I once lived in, and it's 33 million. So,
Well, this is going
so
to be quite the conversation because we've already
yeah,
met before and we were like, da, 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 da. And so I feel like it's going to be one of those ones again today.
yes, it
But
is.
let me do all the formalities first because you have quite the career and I would say you haven't gone down the linear path. You've created a path that is really inspiring and taking us very much into the future, into this new world, and we need more of this. So you're the
Yes.
founder and general partner of Sacral Capital, which is a growth advisory firm and fund platform focused on backing businesses. And I love this bit through an unwavering commitment to wise decision making, fueled by you have a steadfast approach of patience and foresight. You are
Mhm.
dedicated to becoming the most triumphant, multicultural, and women led in company ever. I love that
Yes.
too.
I would like to be, yeah, the new Blackstone that's built by a woman. There's never been a firm that large built by a woman before. Yes.
Incredible. I love these goals, these North Stars. And they're bigger than goals. They're like a huge North Star. You actively seek diverse and optimal ways to utilize, well, let's call it conscious capital, because we were just having a conversation about that. And it can no longer just be capital. It's how are we doing things consciously, ensuring exceptional returns for your stakeholders. Some of the sectors that you are very focused on is infrastructure, fintech, innovation, and how they all collide. And I think you said aerodynamics as well. I could have had that wrong, but I'm pretty sure you
Yes.
did.
Fintech finance is obviously one that's ever growing all the time. Mobility with a specification in aviation, and then infrastructure, data centers, power, so forth. Obviously, this was way before everyone started talking about it on the news. By the way, when I strategize this, and then consumer health, organic food and beverage, organic agriculture, any type of at home healing kits, as well as women's health.
Incredible. And you're on this in your pursuit of solutions. You embrace embrace uncharted territories, adopt unconventional approaches, and make substantial and bold allocations in unexpected places. You use venture as a vehicle to heal the broken systems. So when we talk about that from an audience perspective, it's how do you heal a disconnected ecosystem and put it back together as what I like to call an interconnected ecosystem where it has a soul, it has a heartbeat. And I know that you would vibe on that,
Mm-hmm.
Brandy, as well. It's not just
Mm-hmm.
a fun growth for growth's sake. Your North Star is building structures where conscious capital, conviction, and legacy are in alignment. But most importantly, focusing on the regeneration of the economy and of economies, because it is broken at the moment, let's face it. And so how do we put it back together in a really
Mm-hmm.
regenerative way so that it continues
Yeah.
to thrive?
Yeah.
Before launching
Things will
sorry, you
and
go.
things will always break, and things will always break.
Yeah.
They do, because the breakdowns lead to breakthroughs. So, that's it.
Always. Yeah,
Yeah.
someone actually mentioned to me just before, they use the term black swan and like it was dire. We're about
Mhm.
to be a black swan. And I'm like, yeah, but from a black swan, the most incredible things come out of a black swan. Like if you read
I
all the
did.
right literature around this, a black swan isn't doom and gloom. It's like, how do you hold steadfast? How do you steward your way through it?
Mhm.
And that's the innovation and the invention that comes through. Do you agree with that?
Agree.
Agree. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Pre-Sacral Capital, you built across business development, marketing, and capital formation. You have held roles as the managing director at Dealbox, where you oversaw a 400 million in client marketing and investment raises, and you helped connect a $50 million strategic investor to FIA Formula E. But your background also includes founding House of Berlin slash Article Agency, which was a PR marketing agency working on energy and crypto adjacent ventures.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit about your journey.
It stems from probably before birth, but we'll just start with after birth. When I came into this world, my family were very steadfast on making sure they did not go through the challenges that they went through. And I watched my mother make decisions that were better for us, yet were challenging for her. And then the choices after that, we came from living in a community where it wasn't homes, it was trailers, to then my father building a large business. And that ended up not being my real father. And so, I didn't know this till 9 years ago, but I watched him become a entrepreneur
Mm.
that did very well. And I ended up getting involved in the family business as well and helping with the marketing of the business. And then they allowed us to be free spirits. My father was a musician. My mother was all about us going, do what you want to do. You don't have to be a lawyer or a doctor or, these things. And so, yet when I would come home, I'd have to Windex and vacuum every day. So there was freedom in arts and creativity, yet structure.
I was about to
And
say
so I chose dance and as a young passion at 3 years old and continued for 21 years. So the grit there provided me the platform to be able to show up on time, be a good leader and a star at the same time, and be amongst those you have to be in cohesiveness with, and also learn how to fall, get back up. We weren't allowed to say the word can in school or else dance school or else we were kicked out. Then in high school, that's when I kind of like spearheaded it, went a little faster. And
yeah.
that was through a University of Florida program inside my high school for college courses in entrepreneurship and finance. And then I became a leasing agent at a young age, at 16, and learned how to do contracts and proration. And then it just went on from there.
Yeah, incredible. And you told me when you almost fell into VC venture capital, it wasn't something that you were like. Tell us a little bit about that because I thought it was quite incredible. You were, from doing all these like, was it a client that you were working with, and then you were realized you were in VC, and then all of a sudden that just opened up another big, I guess, opportunity for you. But it wasn't
Okay.
something that you had planned or intended on
Mhm.
getting into, and now look at
No,
you.
not at all. No, not at all. So my PR little boutique agency started growing, then it became full marketing. Then it became business development because then I could look at the person's business or what they wanted to create and go, you need this, you need that. This isn't right. Let's look at this. Your budget's off, blah, 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 right? And then I could also look at the founders, and I had worked with so many at that point where I then started to become choosy as to who I wanted
To
and
work with.
who I was aligned with and deserved as clients. So I went from having to not have the opportunity to be able to choose whoever I wanted to work with because you have to build your portfolio. But then coming to the point where I was like, here's what I'm seeking and what I'm aligned with. And that's innovative brands, ones that are, you know, mixing creativity, entertainment, sport. I mean, the whole thing. I was raised in cars as when I was younger. My father had a collision center. So racing and then music and entertainment industry. My father, my family were musicians, were performers. And then you have saving the planet, which it is controversial, our electric cars, saving. We're going to put that topic aside, but at
Yeah.
that time, it was innovative, like, okay, less oil, less emissions.
Mm.
And so I was like, wait a second, I can do brand partnerships and sponsorships for a company that is hitting all of these marks that I'm passionate about and I was raised around. Oh my gosh, amazing. And they were like, hey, if you find an investor, let us know. Had no idea because I was only doing sponsorships for them. And yeah, I accidentally raised 50 million for them from the CEO of Gulf Oil of Mexico, the owner of the Gulf Oil Mexico license.
So when
And
they
I didn't get a dollar though.
Yeah, fascinating. You didn't get a dollar.
No, not off the 50. No.
So weird. Like, was that like, were you expecting it? Like, did you have, like, from a female perspective, do you think there was something? Because I know we were going to talk about female,
Yeah.
male, and there's a real, obviously, big situation in VC in the ecosystem around funding for
Yeah.
women. You know,
Something in my sacral said right when I had met, because how I met him was I was doing an event for Steven Tyler from Aerosmith and his daughters for Art Basel, launching their music and photography that weekend. And there was a group of gentlemen at a table at my event. I did not know who they were, but my sacral, that's why my firm's called Sacral Capital, because it's your gut, it's your intuition, it's what leads you. Said, go over to that table. And I went over to the table and they were like, oh, what do you do? Blah, blah. Is this all you do? And when I mentioned Formula E, all the men just started laughing. And I was like, what are they laughing at? And then they were like, we built the first Formula One racetrack in Mexico. He's the Formula One this or blah, blah, blah. And they're like, we don't know about this electric series. So out of excitement, I was like, wait, these could be investors that, the CMO and CFO
connecting
just
it
told me.
together.
I automatically started making the connection. I made the connection. Then all of a sudden, what happened is my intuition messaging started going, something needs to be protected here. This is bigger than you, Brandi, bigger than you. So I started contacting people in my network. Hey, there's this deal that's happening. What do I need to do? They're like, oh, you need an NCNDA. I've heard of an NDA. At that time, I was 24. I'll be 41. An NCNDA, non-compete, non-disclosure.
Oh yeah, the good old
So
non-compete.
non-disclosure means don't share info. Non-compete, you can't step over. Well, I sent it to him after about 5 days of figuring out how he can get this correct document, because there was no such thing as AI then.
Yeah.
And so I sent it, and he messaged me and said, they sent theirs yesterday to me. So that automatically blocked me. Then 2, I'm not a broker-dealer. So I didn't know anything about broker-dealers and points and license. Like, you're not allowed points on a deal unless you're a broker-dealer. Totally fine. That's legal. Understood. So it's knowing your worth and your value and your ability and putting
Mm.
that into an agreement ahead of time.
Yeah. It's a good one for the audience in terms of just everyone
Mhm.
listening that, like, get your ducks in a row, get everything in order.
Even if you've never closed a big deal before, prepare your materials as if you have or are going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that probably one of the biggest lessons you've ever learned in your career,
Mhm.
or do you think that was a defining moment for you, like, in terms of, you said know your worth?
There are several others. Those might take different style of podcasts, but they all lead to the same source, which is you and your internal guidance and patterns and what you attract. Because what you
Mm.
attract in personal life or business life or whatever life, it all leads to the same reasoning of healing that's needing to be awoken.
Yeah, tell
So
us a
no,
little bit.
I wouldn't say that's yours.
No, no, we've all had our. Tell us a little bit about healing the broken systems, Brandy, because I love this, and
Mhm.
from an inside out perspective, I think even whether it's from ourselves as leaders or as individuals through to business, through to teams, we always seek the
Mhm.
external at times. I know I do, where we're like, you blame everything externally because you think that it's that victim mindset, right? Whereas
Mhm.
to truly heal and to truly, I guess I say shine your brightest, in
Yeah.
terms of being your best, you have to go within, and it's sitting with the uncomfortable and trusting the process. Do you
It
agree? Like when
is.
it comes to healing.
When when you're healing broken systems in industries or economies, if you were to I love reverse engineering. So if you were to reverse engineer that to a
Yeah.
human, you yourself have different what they call agencies or different departments, right? And so and then if you reverse back engineer it, it's the same, it flips back to the same. So you're wanting to heal the broken system, which is where does one thing connect to the other, where there's antiquation or there's static or gray matter or a lot. Consumers are very vocal and they will tell you, you hear it everywhere, this, but they're still not healing it
No.
because someone's benefiting off of that,
Mm,
obviously.
mm,
And or the technology wasn't there. There's so many there's more ands that could be to that area of disconnect. And so that's where I'm wanting to invest in. And it's not just a physical thing or service, it's also human. So, bringing women in as co-leaders has shown in the past 10 years of data that 78 cents is returned on the dollar if you have a woman leading with you on a team
mm,
versus an all male led team
yeah.
that's doing only 31 cents on the dollar. That's just a small amount of data. There's so much more data that's the 10 past years. Yep, the needle has been moving on investor dollars moving to women led or women owned businesses. So,
Do you think,
yeah.
and just on that, because they're quite like I guess astounding stats in terms of 78 cents to the dollar versus 31 cents to the dollar. How far off do you think we are from, and you might say like years and years, how far off do you think we are from healing the broken systems and women, being playing a bigger role in healing the broken systems in, let's call it in within the VC ecosystem specifically.
Authentically,
Yeah.
authentically,
Yes. Or,
I
yes.
authentically plus with data is showing that what we thought was going to continue to grow faster, because 5 years ago it's only gone up 0.3% as far as the amount of money that's been distributed around the world to women of the trillions and trillions of dollars. In 5 years, 0.3 has
Wow.
upped from the. So I felt 5 years ago when I was reading these statistics that it would have been at least, a 0.5% or 1% more, and it hasn't. So I, I just, how do you say this? I don't want to even go there. I like to
Yeah.
just continue to stay in my lane and
And go
continue to
forward.
just keep pushing and not
Yeah.
dwell on the data. It should be more, but in order for things to move in a pace that has substantial movement that you can actually see, sometimes it needs patience,
Yeah. Which
right?
comes back to your whole philosophy
Yeah.
around patience and persistence.
Yeah,
And you even said to me last week when we had a chat
it
pre-show,
does. It does.
well, it's patience and persistence, right? Because I know even as a,
Yes.
whether you're a female or a male, like there's just like if I'm a type A personality, and I'm sure there's people listening to this. Well,
Perseverance.
pardon?
The three P's. The three P's: patience, persistence, perseverance.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Perseverance. Yes, you've got to keep going because you just talked around going forward, and I call that being anti-fragile. So, how do you
Yeah.
continue to bounce forward?
Hmm.
But I think patience more than ever is such a, we're all,
Feminine.
it's a diamond, and we're all having to really learn and understand it in terms of sitting with, like you've been on the spiritual path and like on the journey for many years, and
I
obviously
would say I would say patience is more feminine. Men are hunters. Eggs don't chase, sperm does.
It's such a good analogy.
So women, we just need to be patient as we should be because we're feminine. Being patient is the utmost energy of grace at the end of the day.
It's
And in
really
order to move like a river and get to the ocean, we don't care about the little rocks that, oh, why'd that water go around that rock? You don't need to do that.
no. It's so true though, but then why do we as women, like even me, like, there's days where I'm just like, push, 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 and I know I should be
Oh,
pushing. And
yeah.
you said to me
Mhm.
last week, it's what was the word I thought of it when I was walking yesterday. You said trust the
Oh,
process and
yeah.
there was something else, trust the process and divine timing. You said divine
Mhm.
timing. And I really do believe that because you cannot compare yourself to others. You can't compare your business and where your business is at to other people's businesses because everyone is on their own trajectory and
Yeah.
has to go through their own learnings and lessons, etc. But why do you like you would do you ever get like that where you feel like you're pushing and you know that you should be pushing it, you have to get back to being patient? Does it happen to you in business or as a leader?
I did up until a few years ago. Yes.
And
Now
what
when it's happening to me, it's more probably in the lighter sense of the personal life, but not so much anymore. Probably only when the hormones are might be doing something. But I have created a new synapse that is very strong in the brain that once I start feeling that line of where I'm becoming too much of a hunter, because we are still hunters. We are hunters. Every human is.
Yeah.
Yet when you're crossing the line where it's too masculine or you're being desperate for the result, that is where the energy does not align with the feminine.
Mm.
And that's where here's a challenge. You want to know why here's the challenge on this piece of plate or paper? It's because that's the thing that you need to heal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and whatever that thing is, it might not be actually the recipe that's on the plate. It's actually the cook behind the recipe.
Yeah. So true.
And you're not the cook. It was the one before you.
Yeah, because you talked about you love mindset, you love talking about mindset, you love mindset coaching. Do you have these
Hmm.
sorts of conversations with the founders that you invest in? Like, do you talk to them about this all the time? And do you ever
I
get
won't
like pushback?
I won't work with them if they don't have the open mind to do this.
Mm, mm.
And actually to be deep with you, I no longer attract founders or humans that don't have at least a mid grade or higher grade of this type of mindset. And I'm not disassociating myself with those that are not ascended or blah blah, right? These like woo woo, low vibrational ways that people are communicating about other people that are not there yet.
Yes.
It's just that I've worked with those founders before because that is where I was,
Yeah.
right? So
Lower
now
vibration
yeah, or attraction, right? Law of
attraction.
attraction. I just no longer attract those that are at that level that do not have the grit and perseverance of their own and intelligence and wisdom of what they've learned and making sure that they have done their healing. They've done it already. I don't have to ask them. And you can see it when you say, "Hey, do you have XYZ? Here's a request list." So I was told that my due diligence process on assessing companies is more robust than Google Ventures because I take the time out to customize my request list of their files and data room. I don't want just their data room they send to whoever. They have 90 days to fill out what I want. And it's timed. They don't know it. It's in the back end now. Everybody does. But it's timed in the back end. And if they don't fill it out within 90 days, I won't invest in them because that means they're not organized.
Yeah.
They're not going to be organized with the money.
What does, like, high level, what does that include when you what they have to complete to work with you?
Well, it depends on what industry that
Yeah.
they are in, first of all, and each industry requires different documents. So some are very code heavy, right? So having access to their different portals that they have their code live wherever that is. And then some of it is going to be heavy machinery, so our data centers or you know what what transformers are they using? Do they have backups, right? Or these type of things. Then it goes to the founder, who's on your team, the exits, right? Is there a woman on your lead C-suite team?
Yeah.
And then it goes into, uh, all right, now you can have all of those things, but then it's, did you show up to the meetings? Did you communicate if you couldn't? Did you communicate, hey, I'm not going to have that document that I said I was going to at this date, but I will have it next week ahead of time?
Mm.
Do you have the vulnerability to state that
Yeah. Because
a
that's what
day
I
or
was
two before?
Yeah, because that's what I guess I probably didn't ask my question clear enough in terms of, like, there would be mind-specific questions that you ask in terms of, like, I believe,
I
from a
won't ask them. They'll show it.
yeah, okay, you don't ask, you just literally you can pick it up from the way they
Oh,
are,
I
but
go meet their families. I go hang out in their little towns. I'm like CIA.
yeah, you go deep. But
Yeah, yeah.
I love it
You're
because
marrying them.
yeah, no, that's exactly right. It's a partnership. That's what I was about to say. It's not just a
Yeah,
business relationship, it's a marriage. And this is where, for
yeah.
me, life and business fully integrated is part of the total ecosystem, right? Don't you think?
Oh,
And
yeah.
if you've got a
Oh,
broken
yeah.
personal part of the system, and yet you might have a really super successful business part of the system, it's still broken. It still needs
Oh,
healing.
yeah. I will give you one quick little example. I knew these people for 2 years, and on paper and out in the intraweb, they had done great, quote unquote. And then when I went to a particular place to live, breathe, everything for X amount, I didn't have a due date that I would be going because I was seeing this as a long-term partnership. And I always say after 90 days, you really know what's going to happen with
Yeah.
humans in every scenario, whether you're dating or business or whatever. So, right at the 90-day mark, all the flags, it was a circus. It was a circus. And I was like, hmm. And I met the wives and the children. They were great. I brought them flowers and gifts and I would come and hang out and the husbands, they were just like they liked their little brohood and then the family life there was separation, but then it was like nothing was adding up. So
Yeah.
then I put a tiny little transactional scenario operation that I was not the sole owner of, but I was the middleman of to see if it would transact smoothly, just to give it its final yes or no. And it was not successfully smooth, right? So, and these, I lived, breathed, and worked around these people. Yeah. And then
Fascinating.
I would go to a particular place that they owned, and then their staff would be like, hey, can you help us? Because they were trusting me because I was just coming around more often.
Yeah. Well,
You
like,
know,
I mean, this, yeah, it comes back to being a relationship, right? It comes back to connecting. You have to connect within the
mhm,
ecosystem. But I think so
mhm,
much of this is also down to your sacral piece and intuition and gut. You generally pretty quickly. I mean,
mhm,
I don't read a book by its cover, but I have quite a sixth sense, and so when I
yeah.
meet somebody, I can walk into a room. I've got this, like, superpower, which no doubt you do too, and I can understand a business problem, but it's not even the problem, and I'm looking around and I'm, like, within
It's
5 minutes going,
years.
I know exactly what's going on here, but I'll play the game and
Oh,
ask the
yeah.
questions and dig in and look at it all, but you can pretty quickly read the play, and I think
Yeah,
that
but
comes down to
the higher you go up in wealth and the people that are wanting to play in it and act like they aren't it, there is a little bit of this gray. So this is
yes,
where so then your spidey sense, your intuition, your patience has to come first.
Yes.
There's a responsibility to the fiduciary for all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I want to completely switch this conversation up because when you booked in for the pod and I asked you, how are you reshaping life, leadership, business and or investing, or what's a unique insight? This
Mhm.
bit, I want you to I just this bit's fascinating.
Okay.
You said dating billionaire sons and learning how they manage from the inside out in their legacies and what not to do or apply in my future family's legacy. Can you share a
Mhm.
little bit about that, please?
It's quite simple. It sounds like it wouldn't be, but it is very simple. The projection of the desire for your offspring to take over and not fail at what you struggled, challenged so hardly to get to, and or the trauma that was and projection that was placed on you as the father or mother, then onto them. Every human is born with its own path.
Mm,
And just because you are born in wealth does not mean that you should be running a multi-billion-dollar real estate firm.
mm,
If you wanted to go play music and play ukulele in the middle of nowhere, go do it. Right?
yeah.
But live life with compassion, and that's it for yourself and others.
So
I,
good.
it,
The simplicity of it all. I love your simplicity like in terms of just keeping it completely real. It's so important, isn't it? Like just like let's just keep it real. Like
so
you know,
much pressure in those families, and it
this
creates it's not yours. If you are the child, that pressure is actually not your pressure. And as a child, you should not be inflicted upon that pressure.
yeah.
You're not you don't you're not given the ability to move and freedom and creativity.
Mm. I've got a
Mhm.
couple of final questions for you because I know it is Sunday
Okay.
evening for you and you are
Yeah, it is.
workation. So
Always,
let's talk about that.
always vacation.
That is one of my questions. Being a founder yourself, having your own business, there's times where we all have to take the time out and have that I call it active recovery. And you would see it with the
Mm.
company that you're investing in as well. You cannot work 24/7 and not have some time out to get the fresh perspectives, etc. What does a workation constitute for you? And how does that also give you the ability to get those novel experiences? Because right now you're in nature, you're by the sea, and
Yeah.
so you're working, but you've also got a different environment. Tell us a little bit about
There's
that.
nature. There's nature wherever we go. So we're gonna knock that one out of the park. Everywhere you go, there is nature. Yes,
Yeah.
there's New York City, but you still have some Central Park. Everywhere you go is nature. So I'm always near nature. Grounding is very important. Yes, do I sometimes miss the moments that I need to put my feet in the actual earth? Yes. So then, therefore, you have to learn how to remind yourself that you are home, you are grounded, right?
Mm,
And that takes
mm.
a lot. That's another level of excelled learning how to energy heal yourself. Everywhere I'm going ahead of time, I will make sure that wherever I'm staying has a kitchenette of some sort. I always order Instacart when I'm getting on the plane so that when I arrive, literally the groceries arrive the same time I'm walking up. I don't know how I perfected it, but I have. So grocery service arrived. My fresh juices, your organic avocados, whatever, everything like the basics, organic eggs, whatever. That also reduces costs, but then also it allows me to maintain my body's inflammation from
Routine.
traveling so much and then the food out there and everything else that's out there. I do notice a difference when I
Yeah.
am traveling and I eat out and then I go to work. You do know you get a little foggy or this or that. So
Yes.
then also when I know what city I'm going to, I look at what chiropractor, what healer, what infrared sauna place, what I do a whole a whole thing. I'm like, and I'll choose one, maybe two of those healing modalities. And then I travel with bands, water, fill up kettlebells. So they're made of plastic. But
Yes,
before I was traveling with a soft sand
I love it.
kettlebell. But then TSA was always taking it out to wipe it. So my guy got me the kettlebells that are plastic you fill up with water.
I love it.
So
Actually,
that's
do you know I got caught once traveling overseas because I had my little 1 kilo dumbbells. I put them in my carry-on luggage thinking that was
how
normal.
many pounds is that?
So it's 4 kilos, so I don't know what that is in
Really?
pounds. Yeah, and I got
Think like 3 to 5 pounds.
I
You're
had them.
allowed 5 pounds. I
Oh,
had
I don't
8
know.
pounds kettlebell,
I was
and they were
devastated.
like, "You can't take it." And I was like, "The
Yeah, that was
last
me.
place I was at let me take it." They're like,
Yeah.
"No, you could slam it into the pilot." I'm like, "I am a pilot."
Last question. I've got a couple of minutes. I'll leave a couple of minutes to go.
Yeah.
It's not even gonna be a question. What would be your final wisdom, wise words you would like to share with the audience when it comes to life and business? Let's put the two together.
This is right when you were in the middle of it, I already wildly knew. I wrote this when I was 15. And it got published in a poetry book, like some national poetry book, because my brother and my father were musicians and they would be playing music. And it was more of the guy thing. I would be writing in a butterfly shaped notepad when I was younger. So they were poems, yet lyrics. And this one I ended up printing out a few years ago. And it's love the beautiful, seek out the true, wish for the good, and the best will do.
Oh, that's cool. And you wrote that.
Yeah.
It's
I was
incredible.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. You need to
I,
publish that if you haven't already. You need to publish that. That's very cool.
It was published in a high school poetry national book, something of that nature. But yeah, a book is coming. A
Yeah,
book
your
is
book will be
coming,
wild. I can't wait to read it. Brandi, how
especially
do we
if you're in it.
yeah, well you're gonna come to Melbourne, you said, or Australia, and
I am.
I'm gonna put
I
it out there.
am.
I have put it out there to get to the US this year. So I have big intentions. So, well, not big. I've just put the intentions out there.
Of
Brandy,
course.
how do we find out more about you, Sacred Capital, you as well? I've got all your details, but you can share also.
LinkedIn is great. Brandi Kolosky or Sacral Capital at LinkedIn. I check it, and my assistant and I check it all the time. Sacredcapital.com. Twitter, I'm quiet, but I'm active until I'm ready to go boom. Yeah, that's really it. And then
Thank you.
Substack, I've been quiet and then putting out things that are more meaningful, but
Yeah,
it's
me too.
there. We're
Yeah.
going to be ramping up where there's a lot more engagement here in the next 3 months.
I I can't wait. I can't wait. Brandy, so honored, so privileged to talk to
Okay.
you. The audience will have taken a lot out of this conversation. So thank you so much. If anyone has any comments, likes, shares, please do so. We want to get your thoughts on this conversation. So thank you, Brandy.
I felt like I was in the room with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Enjoy your
Bye
evening.
bye.
Bye.